Okay, so I have a little bit different of a video for you today. Um, mostly because I didn't want to react to two Slavoj Žižek videos 2 days in a row, just because, continuity. But I thought it would be important for the future of this channel, if I wanted to succeed, for people to click on it and have a good video to watch that sort of describes who I am. Um, and for the purpose of this YouTube channel, I'm not like a real person. I'm just a group of identities and beliefs. Um, and I've boiled those down into 5 words that I think will get it. And these are all kind of common identifiers. Um, uh, but let me get something clear before we start. I don't think any of these things are real. Like, and when I say that things aren't real in this context, I mean that like these are all social constructs, and these are all identifiers that express who I am to other people. But of course, they're not how I internally look at myself. Like if you look at yourself as an identity, and it's like if you look at yourself and you think I'm a Christian, or you think I'm a Muslim, or you think I'm gay, or I'm straight. Like, no, you're not any of those things. That's who you present to the world. That's who you. I mean, none of those things are real. Okay, there's no objective definition of who's gay and who's straight and who's Muslim and who's Christian. They're all just kind of fake. And so the way I look at the world is not, I think, how a lot of people look at the real world, where those things are real. Like those things are all fake. Um, but I suppose it's important to know which ones of those things I'm trying to be. Um, because again, I'm going to say each one of these, and people are probably going to say, well, no, you don't. You're not really that. You're not really these. But I'm these things, and you're whatever you believe you are, not because of what other people say, but because you decided that's who you are. Okay, and I don't let anyone, and I wouldn't want you to let anyone tell you otherwise. But so let's get into it. The 5 words that I would use to describe myself, or to identify myself, my identifiers, if you will, are libertarian, socialist, transgender, Bahai, and pansexual. The one that kind of sounded like nothing, Bahai, that's Bahai. There's an apostrophe in there somewhere. I never remember where it is. But so, libertarian, let's start with that. I'm a libertarian because I oppose any authority over my personal body, if that makes sense. So any organization or government or my boss or, anyone or group that seeks to disenfranchise me from decisions regarding myself, I don't appreciate it. And so the main way that comes about is I don't like. I respect your ability to do anything in the entire world as long as it affects nobody else. Okay, so you can own 500 bazooka rocket launchers if you want, as long as you're not like actively shooting them at people. I guess I'm cool with it. Like fuck it. I guess I don't care. But if you had one slingshot that you were actively using to hit other people in the face with rocks, then yeah, I would be pro slingshot confiscation if you're using it as a slingshot, and I'm anti bazooka confiscation if you're not using it to like blow up buildings and shit. Do you see my point? And then so socialist, I'm a socialist from the economic point of view, that there are certainly industries that should not be regulated by the market. I think the market does a good job in a lot of things. I think that consumer goods, for instance, so like electronics, like as much as we like to claim everyone in the world needs, like the latest iPhone with the latest shit or whatever, you really don't. And so I'm like not that pissed off if everyone in the world doesn't have an iPhone, but if everyone in the world can't eat, or if everyone in the world can't, go to bed with a roof over their head, that's a real problem for me. And I think that we should guarantee these things to people simply for existing. That it's a moral failing that there are people who go to bed hungry every night, or go to bed, starving and homeless and shit like that. And I think that that's a problem that we are well within our capability as a human race to solve. That we could just end these things. Same with like war, And I guess if I could throw it, I in the libertarian socialist part of this whole thing, um, I don't believe in state violence. I don't believe that, the United States should be able to go to war with Canada. I don't think that Canada should be able to invade the United States. I think it's just fucking stupid. Nobody benefits from that. Uh, but I'm not like a pacifist. Like, I believe that you're allowed to defend your own rights, your own body, your own. So like, in my defense of libertarianism, I would be okay with like radical revolution, like stuff like that. Like I wouldn't care. And then the third signifier I use is transgender. That simply means I don't identify with the gender I was assigned at birth. I was assigned male at birth. I'm not male. I guess I'm non-binary, but I would prefer you refer to me as a female. Like if in the highly likely context that you may have to group me with either men or women, I would rather be grouped with the women than with the men. But I don't really see myself as either. I think that's fake. I think the gender's fake, and so for me to put a lot of stake in whether or not I'm male or female is kind of crazy. But I just don't want to be a man. I don't want to be a man. I would rather be a woman, but I don't necessarily care. And that probably sounds weird because I'm like on estrogen right now. But like, do you see what my point is? Like, I would. It's like an iffy subject. But that's pretty much where I'm at. And Bahai. So I practice loosely the Bahai religion, which is again where the pacifism thing that I talked about comes in. People who follow the Bahai faith generally believe in the unity of all religions, that all religious belief is an attempt to explain the same phenomena, and that's the purpose of human life. And that the purpose of human life, in my mind, is to continuously, in perpetuity, continue all of human life. And the way that you do that is by valuing each human's life and by loving them and by being a good person and by generally not being a dick. And if that sounds about like what your religion preaches, then guess what? The Bahai faith will take you, because we see like in Christianity, the only prophet is Jesus, and in Islam, the only like prophet is Muhammad. But I was going to say Moses next because I think Moses is also considered a prophet. There's lots of people who would be considered prophets because their God speaks through them or whatever. But I believe, and I have always interpreted the Baha'i faith as to mean that each individual has the potential to be a prophet. That each person you can learn a little bit about God's plan through each person, and that each person is equal in their ability to speak to God, and that some people choose to listen more, and some people are and some people are more capable of listening. It's hard to blame like a crack addict's son who has to kill to survive. For their position in life and for their, it's certain exceptions like that, but for the most part, that people are generally equally capable. And then I guess the last one I threw in there was pansexual. Pansexual, it's the closest thing that I could find to it. Like, I don't believe in gender, so, basing sexuality on gender is sort of weird. Right, and I also don't believe in sexuality, really. Like, obviously, you have your preferences and you have whatever gets you going, but to suggest that, to suggest that you need to put a label on it's fucking crazy, okay? Like, I'm not going to say one day you wake up and you're gay and the next day you're lesbian, like wishy-washy or whatever, but, like, definitely feelings that you go throughout life, like, 6 months ago I was in a headspace where I wanted to date men, and now I'm in a headspace where I want to date women, and then, eventually you figure out who, but that's like, I think that love, or whatever, I feel like there's a weird conflation of love and sexuality, like who you want to have sex with and who you love is totally different, and so, like, you can call me a cuck for this one, but I imagine it's kind of gonna fall, like, I don't like, are you gonna call me a low T motherfucker when I take estrogen. Like, come on, like what? Like, but my point is, like, when I get married, I'm not gonna care if the person I'm married with sleeps with other people, like just fucks other people. And I don't mean that like they're allowed to fall in love with other people, but they're allowed to fuck other people, and so am I. Like, like tell me about it, talk to me about it. Don't do anything stupid. Like, don't go get AIDS. but but yeah, like I don't like who fucking cares. Like, marriage is a business contract. Like, I'm gonna marry whoever I want to raise my children with, and I don't necessarily feel like I need that person to be sexually attracted to me the whole time I'm raising my children with them. I just need them to like commit to raising their children with me. Does that make sense? And so like, yeah, it would be great if we had some like, you know, we obviously have to have had sex a few times for us to have children, but you know what I'm saying? So there's that. And I'm gonna check how long this video is going real quick. 11 minutes. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I wanted to get this stuff out on the channel just so that when you, I'm gonna make this like the pinned video at the top of my channel so that you get a good understanding of who I am when you click on my channel. Cool. Oh. I should have fucking started with my name. Yeah, it's in the title. It's Avon, by the way.